The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good morning and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is onair@yourteam.pro. And now, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony.
Hey, we're here.
Hey.
We're off in another discussion here.
Yeah, because I showed my husband this purse I want,
And it triggered me.
and it triggered him.
I'm
That's
sorry,
right.
but this would trigger the hell out of me as well.
And then he tells us that one of our friends was looking at a $6,000 purse online, like not in a store, not anywhere, and her husband got mad at her. And these two think that's okay. I can
It's a
window shop
trigger.
all I want,
It's a trigger.
$6,000 for
Purse.
a purse.
but you're window shopping.
Yeah, which leads to actual shopping.
Yeah, it does. Because you got like 400 purses. How do you use 400 purses? You know
No,
what?
I don't care how many purses you have. Why are you paying $6,000 for one purse?
Well, she didn't. It
Or,
was
but
a friend.
even
the
considering
thought
it,
of looking at it is sinful. It is sinful. And actually, I think it should be a criminal offense.
Well, then I think
personally.
men looking at women all the time is sinful too.
It is.
So I'll stop looking at purses when you stop looking at other women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you should look
End
at
of that
purses.
discussion, people.
I think it's healthy to look at purses, actually.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how you can get mad at somebody for looking at something.
And I'm trying to think about it. I don't think it's right either, actually. You know? It's quite a strange thing. But what it is I think as a man, we want our. I have to be careful, women, because they're not our women. They're
You
a
see,
woman.
yeah, we're not
But
possessions.
we want our princesses. We want the people who we love to have everything that they want. What are you looking? Why are you looking like that? Is that not true? Is that not what I want?
We're only princesses when we're doing what you want. We're evil wives when we're not doing what you want.
We all have dual personalities. So the thing
Some
is
stronger than
that
others.
so when you bring a situation, which like a purse, when you have, and to me it's a backup thing. It's like when you talk about a purse, I see the other 40 that you don't use. And then you say, no, but this one I like, and you use it till it gets worn out, and now you got to buy another one. But what about the other 40? Like, can't you like grab one of them, or 2 or 3, and like use them?
Okay, here's the first
And-
problem with
and
that,
I-
what you said, is we never use a purse enough to wear it out.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do, because
Oh, I have a couple black ones because
Yes,
I have
exactly.
like everyday purse, and if I use that everyday purse all the time, yes. Or after a couple
Hear
years.
that? If I use the everyday purse all the time, that means that I don't use the other ones.
Yes, it
And so
does.
the other ones I just bought
Okay.
because I could.
Here we go.
Okay,
I'll give
go
you a
ahead.
prime example.
Yes,
of how
give
you're
us
wrong.
one.
The last time we went to Barbados, what did one of the girls say to me? Because she kept seeing me with the same purse all the time, and she's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I only see you with one purse this time," because usually I have a purse for every outfit
Yeah.
that matches my outfit.
Right.
So I do use them if she saw me using multiple purses the time before.
Okay,
So-
fair enough. So every now and then you do. But what happened that time?
What do you mean what happened?
That time when you only had one purse and the lady mentioned it to you that, hey, what's going on with you? Are you feeling sick? You only have one purse. Well, what happened?
I bought
Like,
one.
What's the $6,000?
This is the
It
insanity.
was,
So
it was a Michael Kors purse
so
that
our-
I needed because we were going
Ooh, I
we
think-
were
I-
going
I
out
think, I think we need a need versus want.
to a black tie event, and I didn't realize, and I wasn't going to go to a black tie event with this big white purse when I'm dressed in all black.
I'm
And I
gonna agree
needed
with
to
that.
at least put my lipstick and my phone and that in
And
there.
you didn't have, out of your multitude of purses, a purse that you could have used for that? Well, okay. Well,
Anyways, I got home and my daughter Skyla stole it from me. I haven't seen it since.
at least it's
Oh,
being
yeah, I was about to
used.
say the same thing.
Yeah. At least it's being used. I got no problem with that if it's being used. I mean, but it's
So-
when you
so
buy it
hold
and you
on.
don't use it.
So what about all these ties that's in your closet? Like,
I will get back to that, but you kicked me out of the room. All my stuff is in the
no,
dungeon.
no, I don't mean that.
So
I
I
mean,
can't even see them. I can't, like, I go down there, I can't see.
You used a few, maybe 10 of them, and the
No,
rest of them
I
sit
use
there.
them all. I use them all. That's what
Oh
I
my
do.
goodness.
That's what I do.
So you wear a
But-
different tie every day for a year? Is that
For
what you're
more
trying
than
to
a
tell
year,
me?
for longer than that.
No, that's not what we're doing.
And not only that, the truth is, right now I can't find nothing because everything is in the dungeon because you put
You need
a
to
room on
expand
hold.
our closet.
Yeah, you put a room on hold, so I had to move all of my stuff down into the basement. I actually think it's racist, personally. That's my take on it. Nobody's going to convince me any different.
So, ladies and gents, if you want to send us an email,
I'm shocked.
send it to onair@yourteam.pro.
Is it possible to be married to a person of color and be racist? Please, somebody tell me.
It is possible because it could have been like a master plan. Oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him think that I love him and everything, and then I'm going to kick all of his stuff out of the room down into the basement where there's no light. Watch.
I'm going to break him from within.
Yeah, I'm gonna break him down from within. That's what I think.
Slowly every day.
Slowly but surely.
No, but that
Move him out
extra,
of a multicultural neighborhood into an all.
that extra bedroom
waspy.
has to be storage for our daughter for all her makeup and everything. She has to have a room for that. Unfortunately, that's the amount.
But you haven't been using it like that. Yeah.
Because you got me working all the time. I can't do anything.
Hold on. Did that have anything to do with her
I don't have
daughter
time.
kicking me out of the room? Now she doesn't have time.
I'm sure there's some
I'm sure there's a
backdoor
connection
story,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, the connection is that we need to renovate again because we need extra closet space, obviously.
We need to get through this recession before you start talking crap like
I'm
that.
window shopping.
Life. Okay, so what I like to hear is from you married people out there. Does your wife like this? Does she treat you like this? After all the years of supporting her and everything, would she kick you out of your bedroom and may put all your stuff into a dungeon?
Oh, I never kicked
So you can't even
you out of
see
the
it?
bedroom yet. I took your clothes out.
It's usually
You're
done
still
in
allowed in the bedroom right now, okay? So watch yourself
Precursor.
All right.
because it's going that way.
Average price down 17.9%. That's crazy. I actually made a mistake because I said that it would be in the 20s.
Greater Toronto real estate prices made a big jump last month.
Yeah,
Those two
that
different
was
things.
the thing. We weren't expecting the big jump.
Rose 1.1% from, so which equaled
What do you mean rose 1.1%?
on average, the prices went up.
What was $50,000, right? Around 50,000.
Yeah.
Month over
Okay,
month. We're talking
fair
month over
enough.
month. So
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough.
last month.
So
in
year over
fact,
year
yeah.
was down 17%.
It was
and
it was more like 5%.
year over year.
If it went
Oh,
57,000 up from a million and change, that
No.
would be like 5%.
They are saying that it went from, what are they saying?
It went up 57,000.
Yeah, well, this article's saying 12,000, so that's why I say,
Could depend on-
gotta
Oh,
be careful
okay.
what you're
No,
reading.
No.
Depends on
You
the
have to
area.
understand the parameters. You have
Toronto.
yes, you do have to be
Toronto on a
careful what you're
whole.
reading.
Still
Okay.
down 17.7%
year over year.
compared to last year.
Yes, 17.9.
But what they're saying is that, and we're seeing a lot of multiple offers, but it doesn't mean that homes are selling for more than what they should be. Like, I mean, I believe like 2 weeks ago, my client bought a house, Don Mills and York Mills, and I believe they got a steal of a deal. I think they should have paid at least $100,000 more. But that could be because they have me as their realtor too. No, I'm joking.
Wow. Okay. No
So-
conceit here.
Obviously not.
Just pure facts, right?
Damn tootin'.
So average price down 17.9%. Sales are down 47%. So how can sales be going down? The average price be going down or being 17.9% below last year, but we had a fantastic month.
Well, sales are going down. but
Because it was so crazy last year.
well, not even that. The sales are going down, but there's also not much on the. Even though there's more inventory, there's still
There's
low
no
inventory.
choice. Yeah, very low inventory.
And what's
And that's the
what's been
problem.
on the market is still sitting, and the new stuff's selling.
Yeah.
'Cause
The
it's
old-
new.
But the old stuff now, oddly enough, is starting to get a little bit of action. The buyers were like at one point just throwing in these lowball offers on everybody, and they're like saying, "Get lost,
You're
get
still
lost,
getting
get
those.
lost,
You're
get
still getting
lost."
that.
The buyers seem to believe, for some reason, the buyers seem to believe that the sellers have lost their minds, and their minds have turned to mush because they got bitten by a zombie.
Yeah.
And,
Somebody.
okay,
Put that back on,
there's a show-
Anthony.
There's the show going on too, Jack.
I know, but Anthony
Yeah,
showed me
okay.
something.
That's before we get into it. We've had a few emails come in. I'm seeing mostly lady names, so I'm thinking I know where it's
Ooh,
going.
look at that
so
Chanel.
From Darlene. Darlene says go for it with the what's that, Chanel purse? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wouldn't know these. These are above my pay grade, but she sent a Chanel purse over.
It was a Louis Vuitton with no logos on it. That's what. So, and she saw a lady with it from her neighborhood, and she liked the purse. So I have no idea how she figured out what it was
that?
and found it. Like, how do you do that?
Oh, it's very easy
It is?
because you know the patterns, so you know the design.
So how do I, when I ask
You
you to
don't
do
know.
some research and stuff like that, you can't find nothing?
Well, we have another email I think Randy's gonna like. So this one is from who's this from? From James. James says, "Hey Randy, if Jackie buys that purse, buy this." And it's a picture of a nice looking lady.
James, you better get him some clients because I guarantee you she costs a lot of money.
Yeah, and not only that, she looks like trouble.
And to top that off, from Nancy. Nancy says, "Hello team. Hey Jackie, does Randy ever buy anything that he does not use?" Fights.
No,
Shots
no,
fired.
I'm a creature
Oh,
of
I
habit.
think we can go to maybe a technical room where there's
Well-
tons of dinosaurs.
Well, technology ends up expiring at some point.
Yeah, but usually.
But I still keep them. I still
usually-
got them.
This is my husband. Okay, what was her name again?
The
Sorry,
last one was from Nancy.
Nancy. When we decided we were going to rebrand ourselves about 7 years ago, maybe, and so we needed to do new photos and that, my husband said, "Well, I'm going to go buy the cameras. I'm going to go buy the lighting." So we have a whole lighting system. We have cameras he bought,
and
all because we were taking photos of
But
ourselves.
in his defense, though, was that for him or for the team?
It doesn't matter. Has he used it since? No.
I want to ask a question. Mike, what lighting are we using?
We are using some of your lights, actually.
Okay, right
Two
now?
of them right now.
To do the show? So you have something else to say?
Where's your cameras you bought? Those great big,
It's in the room over there. Mike's got better cameras. His are like $15,000 each, so we're not going to use.
You're not going to use yours that weren't
Before
needed.
World War
But
III starts, we actually had an email from.
We did use ours. We used all the Mevos, Mike, in the beginning, right?
We did, yes.
And then Mike said, "Well, you know what? You can put aside those cheap ones. Let's bring out the big guns."
So you
and that's
bought
what
stuff
we're
that's
using.
no good.
No, they're great for portable shows.
Well, the older ones are serving a really good purpose. They're collecting dust.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
That hurt.
You're back in my good books.
But Mike, to be honest, are they not?
Are they honest?
not good for remote shows
They're
and on the
dinosaurs.
road?
They're dinosaurs.
Well, we use them. I used them the other day in that
They
room
are
there with the teleprompter.
dinosaurs.
You don't know because
Yeah, they could be used for definitely for other purposes for sure.
well, and they are used for
Well,
other purposes.
Randy will keep the conversation going until everybody's on his side.
Mike, about 5 weeks ago,
See?
did you not set up the Mevo
I
with the
did, yes.
teleprompter and everything?
I'm not
for us?
talking about
Yeah.
the Mevo. I'm talking
They're
about a great
cameras.
big thing that
Oh,
you
the
bought.
JVC
Well,
one.
the problem,
Yeah,
the pro-
JVC. Who's
Yeah.
heard of JVC anymore?
All right, so
It's a dust
we have
bucket.
another email from Don, more I think in line with our show. Subject line: interest rates.
Yes.
Hey, your team, are the interest rates going down? This is what's important. So I think Don's trying to give us a hint here, but
yeah.
The interest rate's going down.
So the interest rate, the overnight rate went sideways. Bank of Canada put a hold on the rate, so that moved sideways. But the fixed rates are bouncing up and down. There's a lot of they're very reasonable. They're lower than the bank overnight rate. So I guess that's kind of a good thing, but it's like one of the first times in history that's ever happened that the Bank of Canada's interest rate is more expensive than the market rate. It's kind of an oddball, but we're dealing with an odd situation. But in general, very few, if anybody, touches the variable rate now, and everybody has gone to fixed rates because they are lower than the Bank of Canada rate. And I would have to say that if what direction interest rates are moving in, I'm going to say sideways. They are pretty good. They are fairly low, and I think that we'll be seeing a slightly upward pressure on rates. I
Yeah,
think
and if they were to raise the rates again, when would that be?
when they determine it. Right now,
Oh, there's
they're
not a set
trying.
time?
Yes, they have 8 announcements per year.
Oh,
So,
okay. And they can do that anytime during the year.
No, during those announcement periods is when they do it. Those
Yeah,
8
okay.
periods. So there's 8 dates that they do it. We've gone through 2. 1 they raised it, 1 they did not. So on the 3rd one, we'll find out what they do. It's interesting. What'll happen? Inflation is coming down. We're at 5.9% inflation in January, which is pretty good. And the unemployment, the biggest problem that we have is really the job market. That's the biggest problem we have, is that our job market is way too healthy. Nobody really wants to work out there. And so the job market came out, what was it, 10 times what we were expecting? I think 150,000 new jobs. And really nobody to fill them, which causes a problem because it causes employers to have to bid on workers and keep workers that maybe they don't even want, that they would normally get rid of, but they can't get rid of them. And that's why I said on the show a couple of weeks ago, guys, this is one of the best times in history, if you live in Canada, to go out and ask for a raise. It's one of the best times because they really need people and they can't get people. And it's also a great time to look around within your industry for people looking for people like yourself. And they're probably paying more to attract them. So it's a really good time in history to get more income. Go ahead.
Our buddy Paul, hi Paul, says, my
Paul
wife.
K?
Yes.
Okay, he's a comedian.
Yes, and this is a good one. He says, my wife doesn't treat me like that. Jackie is definitely racist. Take the purses and run for your life, Randy.
Yeah.
Paul, he can run, but he's not taking my purses. Furthermore, just before the show was a little bit of action going on, and I told them about Jenny's Got a Gun, that song, you know, Jenny's Got a Gun.
It's Jamie's.
Oh, Jamie's Got a Gun? There you go, shows you how much I know about music. Anyways, the original title of that song was Jackie's Got a Gun.
All
And
right.
this is what started the whole conversation. I wanted this purse
Yeah.
that's the purse.
that I want. That's not the purse that our friend was looking at.
Do you
I
know-
don't look at stuff expensive like she.
So we were in Barbados. This is a few years back, and there was this round, the ugliest purse I've ever seen in my life. It was
Michelle
a round
Obama.
purse with a clip at the top, which made it. What made it worse? It had like Michelle Obama and that on it, which
the pictures?
pictures of her on it. Honestly, it was the ugliest. And I have nothing against Michelle Obama, but when you buy something like that, it's automatically got a time clock on it, right? You know what I mean? And now it's like out of date, it's out of season, everything.
She was the first black first lady, so it'll never be out of date.
Oh, it's out of date because she's not the first lady anymore.
But it's
for
still
quite some time, for like 6 years. It's a classic that you never used. You
I
purchased.
did.
You did. When did you use it?
I used it when we went to Barbados a couple times.
No, you did not.
And I used it when we went to.
And I used it.
we
Okay,
used when we
forget that
went-
one.
I used it when
That
we went to
ad
a
meant I
Century
didn't use
21
it.
awards thing because everybody's like, "Oh, what a cool purse."
I was I with you either one of these times?
Well, you were probably socializing, so you didn't hear it.
No, never mind here. What about see the purse?
Okay, let's get on
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Milton. Let's talk about Milton, Ontario. Milton, Ontario has the highest percentage of people with mortgages. 80% of Milton has a mortgage on their house.
Yeah, that's a
80%.
young area though. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a young area. I would say, and it's fairly new.
What's the national average though? Like if
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I would think-
Hold on. I think it's as high as 50% of Canadians don't have mortgages.
oh yeah.
It used to
I think
be,
it's
well, not
something
Canadians.
that high, 30% at least,
Yeah.
something like that.
There was
No, it's gotta be higher.
64% of baby boomers a few years ago that was mortgage free.
See, I thought it was higher than that.
No, more just baby boomers, not the whole.
No, I thought it was higher than that when it comes to baby boomers. But yeah, you know what? Really don't know the answer to that question, but it is interesting. So where are we at? Average price of detached homes is like $1.4 million still. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Semi-detaches is a little over $1 million. Townhouses is just approaching $1 million, and condos is $700,000 for the average price. So prices are still really kind of crazy, to be honest.
Well, crazy or the new norm?
Were you looking that up to see if you could
Oh yeah,
find
34%.
34%?
Ooh, you were pretty close there, babe.
On guess number 2, yeah.
That's for. So according to Canadian household debt stats, 34% of homeowners have mortgage-free properties. So we're one in 3.
That's not
Yeah.
too bad, considering. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
if
think.
you're very happy if you're one of 3.
Yeah, I don't.
It sort of depends. We were helping an older couple that had their mortgage paid off, but they couldn't afford to do anything. They couldn't
They're
afford to
cash
go and
poor.
eat out. They just they were
Oh, they know, I guess.
and they were walking around living very poor, and it was like it was.
They had no pension?
The
I guess?
poorest millionaires you've met.
Yeah. But they really strongly believe in having being mortgage free, so they
Yes.
didn't want to do anything to change that scenario. That's how they live. Well, he didn't
So
want to,
why
but
did they
she would have
downsize?
liked to have sort of changed her life because she's saying, why do we have all this
yeah.
and we're so poor? Like you can't go out. I can't go to bingo
Yeah.
with my friends, or I can't do anything.
Was it like a decent sized house? Like, could they have just downsized?
Oh no, it was a nice house. It
What's
was
this
a good
downside?
size.
They like go into like
No, this is true. This is true. And then by another, which is what they did. And then unfortunately, he passed away shortly after.
Yeah, you can't take the money with you. You gotta enjoy your time while
You
you're
know? Yeah. I mean, living that's why I say to so many people when people say, is it a good time to buy? It's a good time to buy when it's right for you, when it's financially sound for you to buy. Because I'm telling you, if you overextend yourself with your mortgage, with whatever, your car payments,
It can
everything,
lead to problems.
you're bound for a divorce. Because, no, but if you look it up, finances are one of the top
Why
one
are you
of
guys
the
laughing?
one of the the top reasons for divorce. So being cash poor is not necessarily a good thing.
Yep. I'll
So
agree with that.
for me, even when like we say, beg, do what it was, beg, steal, but don't
Beg,
steal.
borrow, steal.
Yeah. To get in the market, I still suggest that don't get in the market and do that to yourself.
Well, just to kind of piggyback off of that, like one of my stories talking about is this week there was this TikToker who kind of went viral about talking about how buying a home may be a scam, right? And she goes on to talk about different things. Basically, she's talking about how when she was referencing $1 million home, right? So she's saying $1 million home, you have to put 20% down, around $20,000. I think she said after everything, she approximated around $226,000 after you put in everything that you need up front. And then she went on to talk about how, with the number she had, would be $5,400 per month for the first 5 years. And she basically equated in the first year, you would pay $12,000 out of all your payments. You'd make $12,000 would go to your interest.
Yeah.
And then, sorry,
No.
$12,000 would go to your principal. Sorry,
Yes.
and $53,000 would go to your principal. So she started talking about how after the first 5 years, it'd be close to $250,000 went to your interest. And she's basically saying that with all of this, you're paying so much money, and such a small percentage is going to your interest, or sorry, to your principal. And she basically she went on about a lot of things, talking about how you can take this money, you can put it into stocks and put it into bonds. She also went on to say how with her rent, she's paying around $20,000 a year. So I think her rent was around $600 a month, which again, I need a bit of context because if you buy $1 million home, is that $1 million home, if you were to rent it out, would it cost you $600? Probably not, right? So I think she's doing a little bit of number fudging, as I like to talk about on the show, where you gotta take things with context, right? So for her again, if she's good with where she's at, and if she's gonna compare, she should have compared. Again, I have no idea where she lives or what kind of property she's in.
Yeah.
But you want to compare things apples to apples versus apples to oranges, where I'm renting this place. If I was to buy this same house, what would my mortgage be, right? And what's the comparison there?
And what would you have after 25 years
Well,
if you
that-
bought the house or if you're renting?
Well, just and with stocks, yeah, great. You can put money in the stocks, right? But you're starting off with, let's say, $250,000 to put in the stocks. But again, the stocks go up and down, and sometimes they go down when you need it. And what happens if it goes down when you need it, right? Where with the home, you have this home. Again, even worst case happens, like we have some apocalypse. No one's buying homes, but you still have somewhere to live, assuming that the apocalypse hasn't killed you yet or isn't killing you. But so yeah, so it's just you got to take things with a grain of salt and kind of dig deeper. A lot of again with TikTok is really just basically getting attention, right? So you put out those headlines, you talk about these things. Which I'm not saying she was lying, but it's a matter of putting things into context and don't just take a little snippet. You need the whole story, right?
Yeah, I think, like that's great that she's talking that way, but at the end of 25 years, hopefully you own that house. Now you're mortgage free into your retirement where you're renting, you made somebody else mortgage free. You made somebody else's retirement better. So, I mean, it depends on what side you're on, right? Some people will never buy a home because they don't feel it's worth it.
And one thing to add on to with the same $1 million home, I think with all the numbers she said, at the end of it, you pay around $1.6 million, which means when you purchase the home, you purchase it with a mortgage of $800,000, you end up paying pretty much twice that, right? So you pay double the price. But again, 25 years later, hopefully you haven't taken any more money out of it. So you have now a house and zero mortgage, and you bought the house for $1 million.
It's gone up.
Yeah, it's again, unless something catastrophic happened, your house in 25 years at the current 5 to 10% doubling will probably be worth around $2 million plus, right? And that's probably being conservative. Thank you.
So
Right,
so you've actually gained money.
Yeah. And if you can double your money in the stock market. It is possible. Don't get me wrong if you know what you're doing, but a lot more people go bankrupt in the stock market than actually make money, especially with stock market, you're putting in small amounts versus if you have a big amount of money to put in the stocks, then yeah, you can maybe grow it. Again, even if it's a small percentage, you'll get that money now. But it's again, I'm nothing against stocks. Stocks is again, if you know what you're doing, if you're responsible, you can definitely make money in the stock market. But it's a lot more risky, in my opinion, than home ownership.
Well, in the stock market, once you lose it, it's gone. it's in money hell, let's just say, because it's gone, so it's not really money haven. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's everybody thinks differently, right? I mean, we from day one believe that, you know, the more property we have, the better we will be situated when we retire. And now you have the reverse mortgages going on, where you can take some money out of your house, enjoy life a little in your retirement, and not have payments. And people are like, well, you're paying. Yeah, but you're paying, like, at least you're enjoying life. Like, what did you work 25, 30 years for, right? To not really do anything after? I don't know. It's, you know.
What did she say if you owned the house that you had to pay monthly in her scenario?
In her scenario, it was 5,400. She was comparing 5,400
to 2,000.
to 1633. I think she was paying 20,000 per year. So it's around six. She said 1633.
16. So 1633.
She's got some good rent there.
Yeah. So she's not comparing the same things. She's comparing, you know, buying this amazing condo versus living in almost a bachelor or a small one-bedroom, not so great of a condo. Because $1 million, the average price of a condo is $700,000. So she's outpacing the market with the purchase, and she's underpacing the market with the lease. So and I understand why she did that, because she had to in order to make her numbers work. So, you know, I guess if you're going to write an article or do a content, you have to kind of make it work. So she massaged them in different directions to do that. The thing is that that is undisputable when it comes to home ownership, is that it's yours. And there's something magical about that. I know for us, growing up with our kids, they always were in our house, and we would invest like crazy in our standard of living inside our home. And so our kids were the main focus of all of that. And so that you can't do inside of a rental. And so
where's the security, right?
Well, but you just cannot do it inside of a rental. You can't renovate that home to make it yours, to make it work for you. So that's sort of one thing to keep in mind. And we have seen several articles that will compare owning a home to renting and investing, the difference. And there's always some serious skewing in there. They typically have to take in, you know, estimate, oh, you have to do the roof, and you have to do this, and you have to do that in order to bring down, dumb down the price earnings on the home. There is something else to remember, though. When you purchase a home at $1 million or over $1 million, so you have to put $200,000 or $230,000 or whatever into it, you have $1 million that you're living in, versus when you buy stocks, you pay $230,000, you have $230,000 investment. So if the stocks go up 12% and the house only goes up 5%, remember the house is going up 5% on $1 million. And the stock is going up 12% on $230,000. So you got to remember these type of things as well. And also then look at which market is more volatile. I mean, go through the history of the Toronto Real Estate Board, and there's been 2 times, and we're going through the second time in history where we saw a negative dip. Actually, it'll be 3 times in history, because there was a time when it just dipped below the 0 mark. And I'd have to look back to remember that year. But outside of that, any other time in history that you've ever heard that the market corrected, it did not go negative. It just went from a crazy 12% year to now a 5% year, a 5% increase. And so they're saying, oh, the market has totally, you know, corrected, because last year you had a 12% increase. This year you only have a 5% increase. While that is true, you are still having an increase. but those are considered bad times. And so, and a lot of people will equate those times to a market crash, but it's not a market crash, that's an adjustment. What we're going through now is a market crash. And it's really weird because we're finding excitement inside the crash where prices have gone up $50,000, leveling themselves out. But it was just that we just didn't expect it. We weren't expecting the market to climb $57,000 from January to February. But here we are. And because of that, it closed the gap, and we only have a negative 17%, 17.9% year over year change, when I was expecting a 20+%. But the market surprised us and started brewing with multiple offers because the Bank of Canada held their overnight rate. And it just goes to show how sensitive the marketplace is to any form of government removing themselves from the picture. Because right now, government is in it, putting a big cloud over it, shooting lightning bolts all over the place, burning up certain, with the lightning bolt hitting this building, burning that up. The government is kind of doing that to different industries with their, with the Bank of Canada rates in hopes to cure inflation. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they have definitely put their foot in a lot of industries there. Like you just think about like even grocery stores and that, right? Like they had to cut their hours. They had to, get rid of people. So there was a lot of unemployed people. But what the government should have said was, you know what? Let's go back to where Sunday nothing's open, and then everybody would be off. And
yeah, but you would piss off all the people who don't believe in God and they're having that time off.
Nothing to do about God.
No, but it's a trigger,
just
right?
a family day.
Because right
it's
now,
a family day. It always was a family day years ago.
Right. Right now, if you do believe in God, you're in a bad situation. It seems like
let's not go there because that's a discussion for a few days.
And so closing down, I actually I remember I was happy when they lifted not the Sundays being open. At that time, I was in retail, and then what it did is it gave us more opportunity to earn more money, in that. And nowadays, I'm like, wow, there is no break. Our lives are moving at 100 kilometers per hour with no break. Because there's no time off.
And we wonder why kids are getting mixed up and stuff. Like, their parents are working all the time just to sustain life.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So if everything was closed one day, and it doesn't even have to be Sunday, okay? It just
How about Wednesday?
Okay. Is there any emails, Anthony?
We have one from Tammy. Tammy says, "Hey, all, this is my new job. Looks like she's shoveling crap to pigs. So I'm not sure what that was in reference to." And one from Sue. Sue's going back with our Jackie conversation with her bag obsession. Hello all real estate team. I saw Jackie the other day, and it's a picture of a lady with like 3 bags in her hand.
I guess to prove to my husband that I use my purses, I might have to go around with 3 at a time. Say, look, see, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd have to prove it to me. Why don't you just use them? Why don't you use your clothes and use your purses?
On the clothes thing, with my wife, there'll be stuff she'll just find, I'll find 6 months later, the tag's still on it.
Yeah. But
you
Jackie,
won't find anything with the tags on it in my closet.
No, because you rip them off before you get in the house. The thing is that
to make sure you can't return them.
No, just make sure I don't know. And I would look and I'd say, well,
but he knows.
I'd say, I've never seen that before. Oh, I've had this for a while. Well, I at first I never thought to ask what a while means, right? But after a while, I realized a while could be like 15 minutes. So.
But Anthony, your wife's so cute. You got to let her have what she wants.
You
don't stop her? Is it because she works and makes money that she's allowed to spend some too?
It's because it's not worth the fight.
Learn from this man.
I don't stop you. I just say.
It's not worth the fight.
Well, it's different.
Anthony's
a different person.
But
he
also,
can internalize them. I can't.
But also, my wife wouldn't buy even look at a $6,000 purse.
Neither would I.
Even a $1,000 purse, she wouldn't look at.
Why did you have to throw that out there?
Like,
No,
like,
honestly now.
I'm just being real. Like 1,000, she would like she might just explode. Like $1,000 per purse. Like,
Do you not see my face the way I'm looking at you?
but really, for $1,000, they need to like make that while you're there. When you need it, they grab it for you. They walk around with you. Like I don't know. I'm
You
different.
need
but,
a
like,
concierge to carry your purse. Never mind opening the door for me. Carry my purse.
I don't know, but like again, I don't know. Even if I had like $10 million, again,
Oh my
I know I can say
goodness!
it.
If I had $10 million, I'd probably need a house for all my purses and shoes.
Like I'm sure my style would change a little bit, but like a $6,000 purse still, I'm like it's I don't know, like this no.
Well, this person went on to justify how, because she only uses one purse and that, and I went and said, well, why do you have all these other purses then?
I've seen her
Anyways.
using more than one purse. Liar.
Ooh,
Liar, liar,
shot
pants on fire.
has been shot. The shot went across the bow, and it looks like it's on. I'll let her know
Anyways,
that, how
They
you
did a
feel.
survey in Canada about mortgage fraud, and they asked, what people thought
Canadians, yep.
of mortgage fraud. 50% said they believe it's quite common, but here's the shocker. 18% of Canadians think it's okay to fudge your income, to fudge your job letter. So is that what the government's doing? Are they forcing people now into other alternatives to, have life the way they want it? I mean,
I think.
Sorry, I was talking about like, not that saying I agree, but the problem is, I guess, with some of these things the government is doing with like the whole, you have to qualify at like, was it 2% higher than the rates, like all those things where like they're trying to protect you. Like I can afford the house, like the mortgage is $2,000, I can more than cover that. Why are you making me qualify at $3,000, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like with these little things where like I can see that being a reason why like, yeah, I'm fudging my numbers because you're fudging the numbers before I can buy the house. So like it's I can see that as them thinking like that. So
I think the reason why the government did the 2% up is because they were coming
they
and
knew
going
what's coming.
rogue. Look what they did. They didn't raise it 2%. They raised it 4.25%. So it's like they didn't protect
oh, you
anybody.
think
But at the
that it
same
was
time-
coming? They knew it was coming? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
But
what
that was-
happened is they knew what they had to do, and they were giving themselves a buffer. They just didn't know that they had destroyed things as bad as they did when they brought in the
Stress test.
No, when they brought in the stress test, it was to protect against a maneuver that they were pulling, which was quantitative easing.
but that stress test was like from like many years, it's like 10 years. How old is the stress test? It's a good little while now.
It's a good little while, but no, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't
not
10
that.
years.
Maybe, wasn't it after 2017 it came in?
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
what year,
so.
but
Yeah. But he is right. It was
2019 maybe,
prior to, but at the same time, I believe that they kind of knew. I think they worked in conjunction with this whole quantitative easing, and they knew that it would erupt. Like you can't just pump money into the
But at the
system
same time,
and
then-
not have an eruption, an effect. And then, but the effect was way more than they ever thought.
But here's the thing. The stress test was put into place because the government felt the Canadians didn't know how to handle their money. This is my opinion.
What this was-
No,
So the
no,
stress
it was
test-
to
hold on,
protect
hold
them
on.
against
But hold
price
on.
increases.
That's fine. But if I have to qualify for 2.5% more, does the government think now when I get in that I'm saving that 2.5% in my bank account? Because that's what they were saying, in case the interest rates went up. But who's saving that 2.5% in their bank account?
They're not saving it. They just have the ability to pay it if it goes up.
But at the same time, with what you're saying before, like if they knew this was coming, why did they also say that we're not going to raise the rates? Right? So
Exactly.
like if they knew they were going to raise, like just don't say anything. Don't.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
be quiet, right? Versus
Right.
like because they basically put more. So we're not raising the rates, so let's buy.
Yeah,
let's
go
buy,
out
let's
and
buy.
spend.
Yeah.
That's actually what he
yeah.
said. Go out and
Yeah.
spend, and then catches
Yeah.
us with our pants down. Holy crap! And like they did,
Peeing against the wind, as they say.
they've done some real serious damage, and you
Oh,
know,
we haven't seen the damage
and we haven't
yet.
even seen the bulk of the damage.
We have not seen that yet. Wait for another 4 years.
Well, on that note, thanks for the transition here. So one of the other articles I want to talk about today was delinquencies. The title is Canadian credit delinquencies are rising for everything but mortgages. Right. So right now, mortgages seem to be good. For this article talks about how we've actually seen a decline in mortgage delinquencies at around 10%, where just 0.18% of outstanding mortgages are past 60 days due, 6 days past due. However, things like your installment loans, those are 49% delinquent, auto loans 23.8%, lines of credit 21.9%, credit cards 17%. So it looks like right now we're feeling the struggle, or we're feeling the tightening. It's just people, again, if you own your home, you're gonna scratch and claw to keep the home. So you'll make sure your mortgage gets paid, but sometimes you might not make that car payment, you might not make that furniture installment payment or that credit card payment. So it's, as of right now, the people they're finding a way to keep those mortgages, but hopefully it's not a sign of what's to come. But we are seeing a big increase in all these other financial holdings. Kind of people are struggling.
Yeah, because right here in this article, it says that it is at a national historical low at 0.14%.
For the mortgages.
Yeah, for the mortgages. But listen to this. 1 in 6 Canadians say in the next 60 days they're going to default on one of their major payments.
Well, so hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully us as Canadians can figure it out. But again, according to the article, it's not looking good in terms of if it's a sign of things to come, with all these other little smaller financial loans being delinquent. But yeah, it's a.
So I'm gonna tell you something.
Yep.
I exposed this on Randy's rant.
You what?
Okay, exposed it on Randy's rant. I wanted to pull the article up since we were talking here, but I'm just going to talk about it in general. There's something happening. You see, the mortgage defaults are extremely low. But if you look on the bank's book of mortgages, and you get to the part where they're talking about amortizations.
Oh, okay. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's massive, 35 years and over. Remember, transactions are very, very low. So there's not a lot of new mortgages going. But meanwhile, this portfolio of 35 years and over amortization is becoming their biggest book of business. Where did that come from? It come from all the people that were going to go delinquent, and they just extended their amortization to allow them to stay in their homes. Isn't that incredible?
If you get a mortgage right now, the longest you can get is 25 years, right?
Yeah, you can't. You legally cannot do a 35 or 40 year. You can't. You just can't do it. It's just not legal. And so where did they get all this illegal business from, right? So what happens? It's wonderful because it's exactly how we're preaching for people to, and we'll help you if you need help and you're finding yourself in a situation. This is exactly what we had talked about before. Call us and we'll tell you how to do it. But since the banks have now put that on their books, I don't mind saying it out loud what to do. Before I didn't want to, because we really shouldn't be using our knowledge to help Canadians to sidestep the government system. But at the same time, that's not what we wanted to do. What we want to do is help people stay in their homes. So, but nonetheless, really what it is that when the bank calls you and tells you that your mortgage has gone from $2,000 to $4,000 or $3,500 or $3,000, whatever it is, and you just can't afford it, or it's gone from 3 to 5, like these kind of situations are out there, and you can't afford that. And then you look at your house, and your house may not even be profitable in some cases, the newer mortgages, what you do. And so what you do is this. You go to your bank and you explain to them the situation and let them know if you did sell the house after commissions and everything, there would be a negative. And therefore, the bank would have to lose money. The truth of the matter is the bank's not going to lose any money because the banks, the loans are insured, and so they will get it back. So it's not really big motivation for them. But sometimes they will just do it because they've got special permission from CMHC or the insurers to be able to do this maneuver. And so sometimes they'll do it, but if they see equity in the home, they may just refuse it. And if it's an investment property, they'll probably refuse it. So you have to be careful the words that you use. But if they do refuse it, then you find out who the insurer was and you go to the insurer, because the insurer
Has to
will
pay
be
the
the
bank.
one that has to lose the money, and the insurer will put pressure on the bank in order to help you to have a longer amortization so you can afford the payments. Because why drive you out of the home
Yeah.
for this problem that Bank of Canada has created? Because they supported our federal government with all the spending that they wanted to do during COVID. And so it's not really our fault. And I equate it to this, and I've said this before, is that if the banks were going under, we'd be cutting a check. The government would be getting together. You'd hear it on the news. Oh, the banks are having a thing. So they cut, I don't know, what do you need, $2 trillion to give them a check, and they're gone. But the Canadians, they go and they do something and they hurt a bunch of people, they're not cutting checks anymore. So this is their equivalent of cutting checks. So don't go and just lose your home.
And
call us and we can.
Sooner than later, too.
Yes,
Don't let it keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
The first time you know you're going to have a problem making that payment, get on it right away.
Before that.
That's what I'm
should
saying.
be
As
able
soon
to
as
see
you
it
know
coming.
that you can't make a payment, like start working on
Start working on it and put yourselves and get yourself into a situation. I know it's hard because it's embarrassing, and so
Yeah.
people don't tend to like to do it, and therefore they cover up in a shell. Well, in that case, you're going to lose your home, or it's going to be too late to be able to do anything. But the sooner that you reach out, because really, guys, it may be embarrassing for you, but it's not your fault.
And is becoming a common
And
issue.
it's becoming I don't know if I would use the word common because
more common. It's
it's
Yeah, there
becoming
you
more
go.
common.
That's a better-
Add more
yes,
in front
okay.
of it. Yes.
All right, so
Thanks,
we have one more email. Very smart listener here from Catherine. Subject line: Anthony is right.
I'm like, why is he
I knew
saying that?
right off the get-go.
All right, Anthony is so right regarding getting a mortgage. So many people can, in fact, afford a $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000 mortgage a month, but the banks and government say that they can't. A lot of these people work several jobs under the table or have other means to make money with budgets, etc. That stress test is BS, and most folks will find a way to pay a mortgage if it goes up. Government stay out of our lives. Well,
Yeah,
the one
good
thing I'll
luck
say
with
is
that.
you can maybe afford, but if you're working under the table, then the banks don't really know that, so you can't really equate those things because
It's
You can't-
harder.
you
It's
can't
harder.
show it.
You
Yeah.
can show it.
Then you're going to be
If
caught
you've
for your
been, if
taxes.
you've had it for over a year, then we can sometimes 6 months, sometimes 2 years,
had the
depending on the
job,
scenario.
had the job over
Had that flow of income
Oh,
into
there's
your
been
bank
that.
account,
Okay.
and it's going in there steadily.
Okay.
Then you're going to pay a higher interest rate, right? Because you can't go to Scotia or
A
TD
lender,
in all the time, and even if you can go to them, they're still going to charge you a higher interest rate. But yeah, traditionally you can't use it. You can't use it in the traditional manner, but there are some non-traditional manners in which you can use it. There's one other thing, but
I
there's
think, do you have
well,
more
there's only,
emails?
I'll just mention this one first before we go on because it has to do with her. There is a fund right now. It's a small fund. It's only a few $1 million.
And we could
where
be
you
gone
can
already.
and where you can get a mortgage that is not stress test.
So you don't have to qualify with
for
the stress test.
But you're paying, I think it's 5.35% interest, but you don't have to qualify for the stress test. So there are some alternatives coming around out there. You can write in if you need one and let us know, and we'll see how we can help.
All right, last email we have from Bob. This just says, I saw them, is the subject. Hello, I saw Randy and Jackie the other day on a road here in Northern Ontario, and it's an image of two bears looking like they're arguing with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely husband and wife bears.
Hey, Anthony, can you show the picture? I can. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's definitely
Perfect.
us, yeah. But hey, we're going on 24 years married, so it's working somehow.
The caption was, I don't know much about bears, but I think they're married.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I'm actually lost for words.
Hey, Rand, you got 4 minutes. Do you have anything you want to get off your chest?
Oh man, 4 minutes. Okay, I'm never really too lost for words, but
Isn't that
inside, on the Randy Rand, I was talking about inside the eye of the storm. What I mean by that is that, yes, we are going through the most major real estate crash in the history of the Toronto Real Estate Board in terms of dollars. We have never, ever seen this many dollars being minused from the price of homes. That's the storm. Inside the eye of the storm, what we are seeing is that we have built the properties to be able to withstand the earthquakes that are coming, to withstand the hurricanes that are coming, and these buildings aren't blowing away and crumbling. They're actually holding up strong inside the eye of the storm. Prices have leveled out, and we're seeing multiple offers going on like crazy. Now, what does that really mean? Does that mean that our real estate market has bounced back and we're out of, and the storm is calming? We don't really know. This is the thing. It could be in stocks, they have this thing where it drops and then it levels off like a shelf or a shoulder. Support. And then boom, it drops again. So it's possible that that's just a support that's been in place since July of last year. We've been on kind of a support shelf.
Support level.
The support level. Are we going to then get into the summer months when it's normally a downturn, and we're going to then start to experience that next level of drop? I don't really know. So the question, we cannot answer the question because we don't have a crystal ball. We really don't know what government policies are going to be put in place. And we do know that right now, the market and the market trends is normally how we can predict what's going on for the future. But in this particular case, the market trends are all in favor of a seller's market, an increasing market. All the numbers, when I go across them, the SNLR, which is sales to new listing ratio, is at 46%, which is a balanced market looking towards and supporting a seller's market. And then you go to months of inventory, and that's at 2.2%, which is clearly in the seller's market range, which means that sellers should hugely have the advantage. New listings, this is an important one too. New listings are down 40.9%, and that is huge. And so with all these factors, it means that buyers just don't have choice. They don't have choice. There's more sales than there are new inventory coming onto the market, and so the market really should be taking off. But because of all the government policies, here we are is in the biggest crash in the history of the Toronto Real Estate Board in respects to numbers. I don't know about in the world. I'd have to do that research. But within the Toronto Real Estate Board, I've done that research, and we all have the biggest dollar drop we've ever seen in history, and so all of that, the reason why that's happening is because of government policies. And so we don't know what the government is going to do. We don't know what the Bank of Canada is going to do. We don't know what the financial regulators are going to do. We know that they've put a number of things in place to make the marketplace really, really hard to navigate. They're making it very, very difficult for banks to be able to lend. Like even to lend, even though you've got everything in place, you decide that you want to buy a home, everything is going good. Sorry, we've already done too much of that particular mortgage class. We can't lend that anymore. And these are the kind of regulations that are coming down that nobody knows about. And then because of that, we have absolutely no idea what the market is going to bring, because they could come with another set of rate hikes and everything and throw a huge monkey wrench into this and stifle the market. But in the meantime, the market is holding strong.
I got one thing to say. For anybody who wants to really dig into real estate news and what's going on, Randy does a Randy's Rant Tuesday nights on the same thing, Reality Radio
9:30.
101, from 9:30 to 10:30, where it's just Randy and he's ranting.
9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
PM.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. and you'll get a lot of info there.
Cool.
All right, ladies and gents, thanks again for joining us this Saturday morning. Hopefully you got a lot of information out of the show. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, or if you just want to chat, send us an email at onair@yourteam.pro. You can also catch us on YouTube search for @yourteampros. And again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. It's been your home, your money, and our lives on realityradio101.com.
Bye for now.
No more talking about Jackie's purses.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101.